karoti vachalam pangum langayate kem tat yat kipa yatam vande yom trinataganam Omajnana tamandasya chinanchana shakshvan militam yena tasmai shri gurave namah. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswata Deve Gauravani Pacharani Nirvishesha Srinyavari Paskatyai Desatani Srila Prabhupada Ki. So today we will discuss Canto 10, Chapter 16, verses 33 to 36. These are the wives of Kaliam. They begin their prayers. That we will read again text 32, which is the prelude to these prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Tastam Suvichna Manasu Tapus Puskritarpya Kayam Nidaya Bhuvibhuta Pitum Panemo Svatya Kritanjaliputa Samalasya Bhaktu Moksep Sava Sharanam Papana. Their minds very much disturbed, those saintly ladies placed their children before them and then bowed down to the Lord of all creatures, laying their bodies flat upon the ground. They desired the liberation of their sinful husband and shelter of the Supreme Lord, the giver of ultimate shelter. And thus they folded their hands in supplication and approached him. So, the wives of Galia, Suvich Manasa, their minds were agitated. They put their children before them, in front of them, and threw their bodies upon the ground. Buddha Patim, they bowed down to the Buddha Patim, the Lord of all living beings. So they were very different from Kalia. So devotional. Satya, these saintly ladies, Gitanjali Puta, with folded hands, they desired that their very sinful husband be freed and receives liberation. Thus they took shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, the next two verses, text 34 and 35, Srila Sridhar comments, there is a general thread of purpose in these next 6 verses. That is that they agree with Krishna's punishments to Kaliya. So we hear that first. Yes, we agree with the punishment, rightly done. Then in the next verses, 39 to 48, they offer their obeisances to the Lord, and that are 10 verses. And then 5 verses that complete the progress and submit their request to Krishna. So then they will bring up the request, what they want to ask. Third, they agree with the punishment. So they say, it's proper that you chastise him. He's a sinful serpent. And rather saying, it is improper that he is chastised in this way, but They also say, how is it that he is given such mercy? How is it that he receives such mercy? That his sinful head's been touched by your lotus feet? Your chastisement is actually mercy. They agree, and they appreciated Krishna's punishment. So during the next 10 verses, they are also offering their obeisances to Krishna. And then finally they will ask for liberation of Kaliya at the end. So that's the progression we will go to in these verses. So first they agree with the punishment, then they say the punishment is mercy, and finally they will ask for the liberation of Kaliya. Read text 33. We will read text 33. As the first verse of today. Here the Nagapatnis will start speaking. Nagapatnya ocho nyayo idandakita kilbishesms tavavatara kalanishahaya riposutanam apitulyadrishtir tatse danam phalam evanusamsam. Translation. The wives of Kaliya, of the Kaliya serpent said, the punishment this offender has been subjected to is certainly just. After all, you have incarnated within this world to curb down envious and cruel persons. You are so impartial that you look upon your enemies and your own sons. For when you impose a punishment on a living being, you know it to be for his ultimate benefit. Text 33. The punishment you have given is for his benefit. But yet, we can understand the nature of your incarnation, they said. Your Lord is to chastise those who are envious and cruel. That's why you have come. And we know that you are being fair, because you would even punish your own son if he has been envious and cruel. And on the other hand, you reward even a demon who is a devotee. The example Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives of Krishna being fair and having equanimity of vision and rewarding a demon who is a devotee, he rewarded Prahlad, whose father was so inimical. And an example of punishing his own son if he has been cruel and envious, who he became by bad association, is Baumasur or Narakasur, who is Krishna's son born of the earth, the son of Varahadev. Krishna in the form of Varahadev lifted up the earth, and the result was Baumasur, the earth demon. He was also called Naraka Asur because of the hellish mentality developed by bad association. Sridhar Swami comments, first trying to pacify the Lord, who was still angry. Why was Krishna angry? Because he had caused so much trouble to Vrindavan, to the residents of Vrindavan, So by acknowledging the correctness of the punishment, they offered prayers in the beginning. So for you, there is no prescription in terms of punishment or favor as stated by the words beginning with Tatshe Danam, because whatever you do is beneficial. Srila Sanatan Goswami comments, the justice of the punishment upon Kaliya who committed offenses is stated by the words beginning with Tava, although inactually, you the sent is for the spreading of devotional service and pure love of God. Still, when evil is subdued, then that can be accomplished. Sanatan Goswami said, yes, factually you come for the spreading of devotional service. But at the same time, if some demon has to be killed, you take care of that. Or you have an equal vision for one who, on account of his evil nature, is envious. And also for one on account of being saintly is an object of affection, just like a son. You are equal to everyone and you try to benefit everyone. And that is the point. What Krishna does is for the benefit of everyone. Krishna's actions can be eternally appear to be harsh or very giving or affirming. Still, it is for the benefit of the person. Or you give your punishment to enemies, even to sons who would make offense. Why? Because you have equal vision. So one may question, how can this supreme equanimity, which glorified everywhere, be realized as factual? The answer is found in the word phalam, because his actions are affecting benefit. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. First of all, they praise him wanting to pacify his anger, showing agreement with the punishment, as indicated in the verse with the word nyayo. The implication is that the inevitable result, which is to be achieved by enviousness towards himself, which becomes characterized by enmity towards saintly devotees, has been attained by Kaliya. This is what happens. When one is inimical toward Krishna, then Srila Vishwanath Thakur says that these symptoms it's characterized by enviousness towards saintly persons. So Kaliya, he was inimical to the residents of Vrindavan. He was trying to kill them all by poison. So he got a proper result for his envious nature. But they declare there is never any unfair impartiality on your part, because you act to protect the civilized members of society. So the Lord treats, especially his own sons, that as he treats an enemy, as the Lord treated Prahlad and killed his own son, Narakasur. Even in subduing the envious, there is no hatred on his part, as stated by the words beginning with Datse. The punishment removes inimical nature and gives eternal happiness. So that is Krishna's kindness to all living entities. So that was the first verse, that so the punishment is mercy. You are equal to everyone. That and now text 34. text 34, there's also purport. Anocharyam bhavata kitoino tando satamte kalu kalmasapaha yadanda sukattvamamusyadena kado petuna tukhaha eva samata. What you have done here is actually mercy for us. You give to the wicked certainly drives away all their contamination. Indeed, because this conditioned soul, our husband, is so sinful that he has assumed the body of a serpent. Your anger toward him is obviously to be understood as mercy. Purport. Srimad points out in this connection that when a pious person suffers in this world, he realizes the punishment the Supreme Lord is meting out to me is actually His causeless mercy. Envious persons, however, even after being punished by the Lord for their purification, continue to envy Him and be resentful, and this attitude is the reason for their continued failure to understand the absolute truth. So there are a few important points made here in this verse. So it's referring here to the commentary of Madhvacharya, but we will read now directly from Madhvacharya's commentary. One who simply thinks with devotion that the punishment which the Supreme offers to me is actually mercy to me. But those who continue, even after receiving punishments of the Lord, to envy Him, they fail to realize Him because of their inappropriate attitude. So, seeing our suffering as mercy of the Lord. That is a theme that, But one who does not see that as mercy of the Lord, he continues to envy the Lord. They fail to realize Him, Madhvacharya says. Sridhar Swami. So in the first verse says that it is proper what you have done. And this verse shows the Lord's mercy. It's proper and now it's mercy. Kali has received the body of a serpent because of his enviousness. That further, Srila Swami, that they previously stated that your punishment is indeed mercy, and now they say that it is your mercy. That it is not at all punishment. So they say it's not punishment, it's mercy. That's because Kali assumed the form of a serpent. It is your mercy that you touched the serpent. So you have all these sages and these yogis, they meditate on Krishna. Does Krishna touch them? No. But he's touching a sinful serpent here. So that's the question. What's going on here? Thus, the punishment that eradicates the sinfulness due to that birth is indeed mercy. Because of your punishment, his enviousness has been removed. Look what he took to remove his enviousness, this enmity with you. He had to be brought up to nearly the point of death. The point of death. That punishment which removed his enmity, that caused his taking birth as a servant. That seemingly punishment was in fact your kindness, your mercy, even though it appears to be a manifestation of envy. So it appears that you are envious, but actually you are only kind upon them. Now, Srila Sanatana Goswami, that it says the use of the muscular gender in the words of us who are impure is because they are grouping themselves together with Kaliya. You have punished a sinful person, and we are included. They say, yes, we were associating with our husband, so we are also contaminated, that we are also sinful, we are also included. But the word Eva is indicating that this is not in any way punishment. These have been firmly considered both by ourselves and by learned persons. Your punishment eradicates the contamination of all impure persons and uproots the evil desires. The fact can be directly experienced even by this person who falsely identifies with the material body and has been a great offender. A condition of being a serpent has, as we see, been removed by developing pure intelligence by the process of taking shelter. So, thus, even that anger, which is the basis of his punishment, is actually mercy. Just the anger that you are feeling is recommendable and we are appreciating. So now they say, yeah, you have rightly done, it needed to be punished, and then they say your punishment is mercy, and now they are showing appreciation. Just like if you are really angry, and then someone says you, oh, your anger is actually your kindness. Your anger is actually your kindness. We are really appreciating so much the fact that you are angry. Interesting. If you are angry, you can't laugh. And if you laugh, then anger is going away. So by praising the anger, they hope to diminish Krishna's anger and remove it. So Kaliya's anger is simply the nature of his species and has been accepted by you as the reason for showing mercy, as you allowed me to develop you in my serpent body. Since you have acted toward him by dancing with great joy upon his hoods, which were raising up in anger, so this is really your kindness. You're allowing him to embrace you. So who can be more kind? You have dealt in 50,000 other ways with this poison. You could have dealt in 50,000 other ways with this poisonous snake. You could just have put your glance over him and killed him, and just you have killed Agasur. You could have killed him in unlimited ways. But by the raising of your eyebrows, you could have killed him. Instead, you allowed him to embrace you within his coils. That is special mercy. And not only that, you danced upon Kaliya. That will even more be expressed in the next verse. Now, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Therefore, you are actually showing only mercy. Even if such mercy appears to be punishment, these punishments against us, including themselves with those who are being punished, is driving away our contamination. So the suffering Kali had undergone is bringing down his enjoying spirit. The enjoying spirit, the body that tends to enjoy, is due to sinful reactions. We tend to think that enjoyment means pleasure, and if one has a body fit for enjoyment, then one thinks oneself fortunate, but actually, this materialistic tendency for enjoyment, they are just sinful reactions. And Krishna is so kind, removing those reactions, removing the sinful tendencies. So it appears to be punishment. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur therefore says, actually, you have only been showing mercy, even to the wicked, although such appears to be punishment. Now they have said from different points that you have been so kind, Krishna, so merciful. What wonderful deeds has this Kaliya done to invoke your mercy? That is a question. That you have been so merciful to him. These are sincere prayers. What was the mercy that Krishna gave to Kaliya? First, you allowed to embrace your transcendental. You allowed him to embrace your transcendental body. You have used his body as a stage for dancing for your enjoyment. He was so sinful that he had the body of a serpent, and you have removed his enviousness and sinful nature. So what has to be done for you to bestow his mercy upon him? So that is the mood, what was in the minds of the Nagapatnis, the wives of Kaliya. So that mercy aspect will even be more stressed in text 35. Tapa subtaptam kimanena purvam nirastimanena samanadena tamo tava sarvachana nukampaya yato bhavantu shati sarva jiva. Did our husband carefully perform austerities in a previous life, maybe in his previous life, with his mind free of pride, full of respect for others? Is that why you are pleased with him? So they are saying you are pleased with him because you give him mercy. What did he do in his previous life? Or did he, in some previous existence, carefully execute religious duties with compassion for all living beings? And is that why you, the life of all living beings, are now satisfied with him? Interesting, because in your previous life, if you have performed activities out of compassion for all living beings, then you don't get the body of a serpent in your next life. That's strange, huh? So then the question, not really, the question is, how can it be that Kaliya performed austerities in a previous life with his mind free of pride, respect, respect of others, because he's a snake now and he's envious by nature. A serpent is disrespectful and envious toward all living entities. It's just the opposite. So one would perform prideless austerity and respectful. He would get a suitable result. He would not get the body of a servant. He certainly did not do that. Or did he in a previous existence carefully execute his duties with compassion for all living beings? And it is this why you are satisfied with him. Has he done something, performed religious duties, full of compassion for all living beings? And because you are compassionate to all living beings, you are the life of all living beings, full of compassion. Now, that is why you are satisfied with him. So because he supported you by being compassionate to all living beings, is it therefore that you are satisfied with him? So that's the question. They are asking to Krishna. The purport. In this regard, Srila Prabhupada comments in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna book, chapter 16. The Nagapatnis confirm that one cannot come in contact with Krishna without having executed pious activities in devotional service in one's previous lives, as Lord Chaitanya advised in his Siksastika. One has to execute devotional service by humbly chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, thinking oneself lower than a straw in the street, and not expecting honor for oneself, but offer all kinds of honor to others. The Nagapatnis were astonished that although Kalia had the body of a serpent as a result of grievous sinful activities, at the same time he was in contact with the Lord to the extent that the lotus feet were touching his hoods. Certainly this was not the ordinary result of pious activities. These two contradictory facts astonished them. And they are also astonishing us. How can he got such mercy to be touched by the lotus feet of the Lord? Chaitanya prays in the Sikshastika, Ainanda Tanuja Kinka. He just want to be a particle of dust at the lotus feet of the Lord. But here, Kalia gets touched by Krishna's lotus feet. A comment from Srila Sridhar Swami. Since this is a very great show of mercy, it is acknowledged that this must have been caused by previous committed pious activities. So this is Sanatan Goswami. The excellence that Kalia may have performed is shown by the words beginning with the words Nirasta. But maybe being devoid of pride and giving honors to others in previous life, rather than eradicating bad qualities by austerity, but by refusing to believe that Kalia satisfied the Lord by such austerity, they attempted another hypothesis with the words beginning with Dharma, namely the performance of pious activities, non-violence to all living entities, by acting beneficially. Previously it is said that because of such qualities being absent in his life, how could he have satisfied the Supreme Lord to whom all living entities belong? The idea beginning, the idea being on account of respect to all living entities and compassion shown to all living entities, by being non-violent, by the absence of false pride, he achieved the satisfaction of the Lord. So that's the idea there. to express. Now Srila Vishwanatha Thakur, he comments on this verse. This right now, even as it appears as a punishment, it is not so. It's not a punishment. Rather, it is which is very difficult to attain on the part of even cultured persons. Kaliya somehow attained it very easily. In that connection, what great pious activities must be performed in the past? Just wondering about this, they speak the verse beginning with tappa. So, who is free from pride on account of not being puffed up? And who gives respect to others? This is implied that this is an austerity of Vaishnava nature, and since we do not see this in Kaliya, rather we see a lack of false pride and a lack of willingness to give respect to others. And since those performers of austerities are not a recipient of your satisfaction, we are assuming that Kaliya performed Vaishnava activities for your satisfaction. Otherwise, it would not be possible that he got his mercy. So that religious duty that is characterized by compassion for all living entities must have been performed, which indicates the Vaishnava character with which it is done. By which austerities enjoyed by religious principles did you become so satisfied that you joyfully engaged in dancing on his head? By proper respect and compassion for all living beings, you become satisfied and you are in the temple of the heart of all living souls. So you become satisfied and you are in the temple of the heart of all living souls, also become satisfied. By incidental implication, you give life to all, and then why is it that you are beating with your heels on this person? You must have been satisfied with him in his previous life. So, in summary, Srila Vishwanatha Thakur is that he's a soul, and in previous lives he must have satisfied you in many ways. Otherwise, why would you be merciful to him now? Why is this happening? So if he satisfied you in previous lives in so many ways, so why are you kicking him now? Why would you kill someone who has satisfied you? That's also questions brought forward by Srila Vishwanatha Thakur. Now we will read text 36, which is the last verse of this verses, the beginning of the prayers of Naga Patnis, in which they appreciate the punishment of Kaliya and Sita's mercy. So text 36. Kasyanubhavasya deva vitmaye tavanjayena sparasadikaraha yatvankayashir lalana sharatapo vihayokamam suchiram drita fata. O Lord, We do not know how the serpent Kalia has attained this great opportunity of being touched by the dust of your lotus feet. For this end, the gods of fortune performed austerities for centuries, giving up all their desires and observing austere vows. They make another point. The gods of fortune has performed austerities and is still performing them, and she did not attain it. But you give it here to Kalia, that mercy. So this verse sums up all the points of Krishna's mercy and what Kalia might have done in previous lives. So if we look at this verse, yes. Reino Sparshaya. Yeah. You are touching him. But what is his adhikar, his qualification? That Fanghaya Sri Lalana Acharatapa, and the gods of fortune, she performed austerities to attain that. She did it for a long time, giving up all other desires, made this vrata, but she did not attain it. So we cannot understand what he has done, they say, to deserve your mercy. That you dance in Vrindavan on his head. What is this specific fortune? We cannot understand this. You touched him with your lotus feet. What is his qualification to attain this fortune? We cannot understand this. Devotees practice austerities birth after birth. They desire the shelter of Krishna's lotus feet and have direct darshan of Krishna's lotus feet. And it is so difficult for these aspiring devotees to attain, and yet this snake wagged it inimically. Look at his attainment. So we can't understand why you have given him this result. We don't know this. He has been touched by your lotus feet. What is his qualification? And to make the point even more strong about the extreme fortune of Kalia, the goddess of fortune performed austerities to gain the shelter at your lotus feet. She performed with firm vow for a long time. She gave up everything with the desire to get a direct touch of your lotus feet. She performed austerities for a long time, and she could not attain the touch of your lotus feet. How is it possible? The gods of fortune, who is so qualified, did not get it. So now, commentaries. Siddhar Swami. The gods of fortune, whose grace even Brahma and others desire for their austerities. She, the best of women, did austerities with the divine desire to become qualified to touch your lotus feet. What did he do, Kalia? What did he do to attain what the goddess of fortune could not achieve? Jiva Goswami says, in the phrase beginning with Vanshaya, the word Shri to she who became the consort of the Lord of Vaikuntha. In this connection, the word Tapa, because she's a woman, refers to the worship of her husband. This indicates that her worship became more excellent than previously, because she became very eager for the Lord who appeared as the son of the king of Raj. It is quite befitting that she developed hankering for him and to have a relationship with Krishna and Vishnu. But even she was unable to achieve him by performing austerities, standing through the three phases of time, which is hurting, which is hinting by the words beginning with Kasyanu Bhavasya. What result did she get? She's still continuing to perform austerities in the future. And the reason for being unable to attain him is because she did not have to have the exclusive devotion as the gopis. Only by taking birth in Vrindavan or in the womb of a gopi, one can attain the specific mood that is required to have the association with Krishna and Vraj. So you must take birth in the womb of a gopi, or take birth in Vrindavan. She had attachment to being the goddess of fortune, and she remained attached to that opulent position, so she couldn't give that up, and therefore she couldn't serve. She could not get it. And yet you have given it to Kaliya. Shiva Goswami says that she performed austerities in the past, present, and continues in the future, the three phases of time. And what results will she get? What result will she get? Actually, by the association of the Naga Patnis, who were topmost devotees, it was that Kaliya has been able to take up precedence of Vrindavan. But still, we understand that by their considering themselves as fallen, they thought that Kaliya's good fortune had come from pious activities. Of course, they can put forward a reason to Lord Krishna. That is because of us, because they can't put forward the real reason to Lord Krishna. So, what is the real reason? Someone can say why Kaliya got this fortune.
Raj, I think
Yes.
it's really amazing. The wife of Kaliya, an attempt to enter into the pastime of their, to the past bed of their husband. It's really amazing. They are digging deep. So I underline something from this, from your explanation so far. I see the power of association. Due to being, selfless wife who are dedicated to the Lord. So the Kaliya has gotten the message through them.
How did he get the mercy?
I said through their selfless dedication to the Lord. They are being devotee of the Lord. The wife of Kaliya being devotee to the Lord. So they have gotten that message. Because we can see how deep their philosophical thought is. They are going deeper, trying to speak as something that is really, really amazing that has to do with Kaliya. And this comes because they have this dedication, they have this love for the Lord. So their devotion to the Lord has given mercy to Kaliya, that the Lord, he has gotten this mercy of the Lord being on top of his foot.
Yes. The reason is indeed that he got the mercy because of his wives.
Yeah.
But the Nagapatnis cannot say, oh, it's because of us. They cannot say that. It's because we are great devotees, he get the mercy. So they cannot say that.
Yeah.
So,
sorry, man. That's why I said, we cannot.
Maharaj.
We cannot really overemphasize the power of association.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Maharaj,
Yes.
he was a great devotee in his previous life and who received the Charanamrit of the Lord.
That we will discuss his previous life later, but we will see that the curse does not really lie in his previous life.
Yeah.
that he was a great saint, but he made also offenses. We will hear that later. Now, Sanatan Goswami says, the privilege to touch the dust of your 2 feet on the part of this offensive Kaliya is the influence of austerities and penances. Since this is impossible to attain even by austerities, so austerities and penances cannot give this. And that's true. That's also what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. It's not by austerities, by penances and so on, or by yoga practice that you can attain me. Only by Ananya Bhakti. There is a different way to get what he has gotten, so we don't know what he has done. How is it difficult to attain Krishna's feet? How difficult it is to obtain Krishna's feet is described by the words Vihaya. And again, this is specifically referring to the lotus feet of Krishna in Vraj, not to Lord Vishnu, the Lord of Vaikuntha. Or else, Sanatana Goswami says, you find out many times, or else, so many possibilities. You are absorbed in playful activities, which implies that even now it is difficult to achieve the qualification of simply being touched by the dust of your lotus feet. Even though you are absorbed in the childish pastimes of this kind of dancing and so forth. When Lakshmi descended to this world, although she is eternally established as your dearmost, she had to perform austerities to gain you. This implies the very fact that the dust of your lotus feet is difficult to obtain. Or else, when the sweetness of Sri Krishna received by the goddess of fortune, even though she is eternally present on the chest of the Lord of Vaikuntha, she became greedy and performed austerities in order to attain Krishna. Nevertheless, she could not attain that Krishna. She got only the benediction of having a residence upon his chest in the form of a golden line. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Furthermore, this rising of good fortune could not simply be caused by penances performed, but rather it is inexplicable. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says it's inexplicable. And we try to explain it. What is the power of your mercy? They speak this idea in 3 verses. What is the power of your mercy? That we will see tomorrow in text 36, 37, 38. Beginning with the word kasaya, kasya. We don't know what this must be the effect of or the consequence. What's the cause? Why Kaliya received this mercy? Because he is the most fallen. What is the result they are referring to? To obtain your lotus feet is impossible to obtain by austerities and all other pious activities. But this person has attained the contact of your 2 lotus feet. And that was in the form of dancing. Therefore, how great is this fortune? For she who is superior to Brahma and all other devotees, the consort of you, in the form of Narayan, performed austerities with the desire to achieve the touch of Krishna's lotus feet, performing his pastimes as a coward boy. So it's 5 to 3. We will have a pause until 10 past 3, and then we will hear the questions of Ma Shringya, Mother Kasturga, and others' questions or comments. so see you in 50 minutes. Thank you. No. Mother Kasturica, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I was thinking the point of how Lord's mercy is causeless. It's a fathomless ocean of causeless mercy. Because, Lord created this material world on the request or on the desire of the living entities because they wanted to enjoy separately from Him. So that is His kindness. But He coming into this material world and enacting pastimes is out of His causeless mercy, right? So I was thinking, even though there could be many conditions that could allow one to come closer to Krishna, but unless he wanted to give, he won't be giving, right? So his mercy is the top. That's what I was thinking, and I was also thinking of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy is also causeless. He has no business, but he has come here and he broke the love of Godhead, the storehouse of the love of Godhead, and spreading it to the people who are unqualified. I mean, what does we know? We don't know anything. We are just misdirected civilization. But still, he is giving, facilitating. So that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Yeah, causeless mercy means it has no material cause. But we will see here it has a clear cause that Kalia get the mercy. Although Srila Vishwanatha Bhakti Thakur says it is inexplicable that yes. Why Kalia received this mercy? Because he is the most fallen. But we will see that mercy of the Lord comes to his pure devotees. And we will see here that it's factually the mercy of this Nagapatnis. That is by their mercy he gets the mercy. So that's our mercy, yes. Lord Chaitanya is the most merciful, but also his mercy comes to the Guru Parampara. That because we are all engaged in Lord Chaitanya's mission. That, but it's good to reflect on this. That these questions also in these verses, the way how they see the suffering. They say first it's punishment, and then they say, no, it's not punishment, it's your mercy. That so you can see you get reactions, you get suffering, or it's a reaction of my karma. It's therefore I suffer. That because karma is a punishment. But then a devotee sees, no, it's Krishna's mercy. Krishna purifying me, bringing back to God. There are different visions here. That, thank you for your reflection. That's very nice. Tribhuvanat Prabhu.
Maharaj, I think I must be honest, telling you this. Your explanation has actually broadened my thoughts on this particular section you're treating. These words, this Vaishnava pronoun, Panchakaparu, Gyacha, Kripa, Sindhu, Chapatitana, Vaishnavu, Namo. I got to know the real essence today. Apart from the wife, we also see that this scene happened in the river Yamuna. Yamuna is also a Vaishnava also. And we see how Nityananda Lord Nityananda was so merciful, in spite of being stalked, by Jaga and Mandai. The persistence was there. But one of the things that triggered me mostly is the wife of this, the wife of Kalia. Their attempt to enter the previous life of their husband. They are not the biological mother, but they want to say something, they want, trying to bring us something. I think that is really, it really amazed me. Going to the previous life of the husband, what he has done, what he has not done. So these things really triggers me, Maharaj. Thank you.
Yeah, it is that point here that it's by their mercy, but they cannot say it. They don't even think like that. It's my mercy. But it is their mercy. It's because of their devotion that Krishna acts. But they never think like that. So a spiritual master who thinks that you make advancement by my mercy, that's not appropriate in that sense. That he always thinks, yes, it's by the mercy of my spiritual master. That's what Srila Prabhupada always says. Always, it's by the mercy of my spiritual master. Good. Mother Lalita Pitamai, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, yesterday I had some practical experience of what we saw in the class. That I saw a snake in my neighbor's house, and then I informed them there's a snake in your corridor. Then she called for the snake charmer, and we were quite fearful of seeing that scene. But as the snake charmer, he caught off the snake, then the situation was a bit okay. But as he lifted the snake, we were seeing from a far distance, and the snake was like repeatedly licking its lips. Then I was thinking, yes, the Kali also did the same. That's what we saw today in the class. And then it raised its hood and it was going towards the charmer to strike him. So then he was like pushing it down. And then I was thinking, yes, this is what Krishna did. He he danced on Kalia's foot. And it was like, it was as if it was very furious and it was going to strike the charmer. And then I thought, yes, this is how the Kalia also bit Krishna on his chest. So then I saw this practical experience of how the snake is very envious and how it tries to harm the people. So this was I was reminded of Srimad Bhagavatam while I saw all these incidents, Maharaj.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. It's amazing that practical experience of. Yes, Mashinya Prabhu, please.
Yes, Maharaj, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings in the famous song Jepada Lagia Rama Tapasya Karila, and Lord Shiva Sivatva Labila, Jepada Lagia Brahma Brahmatva Labila. So and Seise Abhayapada. So the same lotus feet I am trying to, I am meditating and I want the mercy. And now we see the Kaliya received, and then the what you are saying that it is due to because he is very fallen. But then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says until unless some fallen understands and he accepts that he is fallen, he cannot be considered as fallen, because in this world everyone is fallen. But the one who receives the mercy is the one who realizes that I am fallen. So Kalia was not realizing that he is fallen. He has not realized this, and he has not shown by his behavior that he is accepting that he is fallen. So these two things are very strange. This is really very bewildering that Kalia received the dust of the lotus feet and the Lord danced on his boots, and extremely this is amazing pastime.
Well, you have to consider what follows. Krishna brings Kaliya to the verge of death practically, and he has to bring him to that point. And when he comes on that point, his heart will change. We will see that in the next verse. His heart will change, and he will realize his position as a servant of Krishna and his fallen position, and he will surrender to Krishna. And the Nagapatnis will see that at the expression of his face that changes. They understood now he has become a devotee. And they will use it as an argument. They said, because they will ask Krishna, please save him. And Krishna, yeah, Srila Vishwanath Thakur writes between the lines and says, and let Krishna reply, and Krishna says, he has a serpent body, what's the use of that? Let me kill him, then he gets a better body. And Nagapatni said, no, don't do that, because he is now a devotee. He's much valuable for us. He's a devotee now. And if you kill him, we will be forced to be enjoyed by another non-devotee serpent. So please don't kill him. So that will all follow. So your observations are very important, and we will see how in the next verses how this develops. That thank you, good point. That Mother Prabhupada Priya, please.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
We've been discussing what is the qualification of Kaliya for having being able to come in contact with the lotus feet of the Lord, and hinting to the fact that it's his association with his wives who are devotees. But I was thinking that there also is some qualification required to have, one's spouse as a devotee. It's not just a random thing or by chance. Something that he got those wives and not, So what was the qualification for that? Because we know the association of devotees is not a cheap thing that just, oh yeah, you can't get the association of the Lord, but association of devotees, nothing. It's actually also, there's some qualification required.
We will hear in the next chapter about his past life and what happened. And we will see that he was a saintly person. He was a devotee. And he got in trouble with another devotee. And they cursed each other and so on. We will see that. So, and the Lord was concerned about both of them because they were devotees. And he said, yes, because you are Brahmins, you have cursed each other, and the curse must become true. Nothing I can do. That I respect the Brahmins. But they were his devotees. And probably we can find the source there that, yeah. It's a good reflection. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Mother Sitarani, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, we saw that how Krishna strikes on different heads of Kaliya, which represent pride and envy. And he's, basically to destroy the pride and envy in him. And I've seen in my life that Krishna arranges different situations to curb my pride and envy. Yet, like Kaliya's other heads, it just seeps in somehow and comes up again. So, even though, I can see that situation was arranged by Krishna to get rid of my pride or my envy, but still that thing still remains. Just like Kaliya's different heads, it just keeps coming up. So how do we really, what do we really need to do?
Yeah, that's also something I was thinking about. That does Krishna need me also to bring to the verge of death to undergo this change of heart, to let it go? Because we are all in the position that you are describing. You are not the only one. We are all in that position that the pride comes up again.
True, Maharaj. Yes, I agree fully.
That
I am feeling this.
Yes, this pastime, let us think about this, and that does Krishna really need to bring me again to that position? That so then this is a hard way to learn. We are now with the Bhagavatam daily, study the Bhagavatam. And you all will experience, and have certainly already experienced, that a daily discussion of this Bhagavatam will help us to get over it and to get the point gradually. That for me, this Bhaktivedanta and Bhaktivedanta course has been a change of heart for sure. It doesn't mean you get rid of all your contamination, but big chunks are going through the study of the Bhagavatam. That and by hearing these experiences, this Kaliya, that's us, that's all of us. That and this trampling on our heads, each head is one big anartha, and one is away, and then the other comes up, and that and so constantly. That yes, but the Bhagavatam is a torchlight in the age of Kaliya. That's Krishna's gift. That just by hearing this, we become purified. By hearing these prayers of the Nagapatnas. But imagine their husband is a big demon, and they are devotees, and they have still to remain connected, and they were preaching to him, and he did not want to hear it. That Krishna, that made them dear to Krishna. That made them dear to Krishna. And it's also a lesson for us. We hear the Bhagavatam, but give it to others. Give it to others. That will make us dear to Krishna. Those are reflections I had, if that's helpful. Okay. Thank you.
I was remembering a point when you said about Nagapatnis, like Prabhupada's sister Pishima. She was married to a non-devotee, and was a meat eater, and she served him. She used to cook meat for him daily for 30 years before he became a devotee. After 30 years of serving him, he became a devotee. So
yeah, so Kaliya was subdued after 30 years. So there is hope. Tribhuvannath Prabhu, please.
Maharaj, this is a question. One thing that struck my heart mostly is that in spite of the philosophical thoughts of the wife of Kaliya, but one thing they could not actually realize, like Gita said, Gita speaks of Swadharma. So Kaliya is somehow using his Dharma, is using his nature. And who has given him this nature? Krishna.
Yeah, that we will discuss in the next verses. Because the Nagapatnis will pray to Krishna and say, look, be merciful to him. He's a snake. He's a snake. Who gave him a snake body? That it's you, because yes, and he's in a mode of ignorance. It's his nature to be envious. So is it his fault? He acts according to his nature. He's acting toward his nature. So please forgive him. They will use that argument a few times. We will see, and then the Nagapatnis make their request. And then Kalia was speaking. He has now become a devotee and he will speak. But he's too bewildered by the whole situation, still too bewildered. And what does he do? He repeats the words of his wives, what they said. Yes, yes, I'm a creature in the mode of ignorance. Please forgive me, it's my nature. But although it is nature, his nature changed and he became a devotee. So interesting. Hare Krishna. So thank you. Then we will continue tomorrow with the prayers. We will go to the end of the prayers tomorrow from 37 to 48. That and here enter the consciousness of this Nagapatnis, pure devotees of the Lord. Thank you very much. Looking forward to see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada.
Prabhupada Goswami Maharaj ki.